Good morning, friends. Today we'll be discussing on sociology and criminology. What is the relation between sociology and criminology? We'll be studying today. As we have discussed, sociology is the science of human relations. It is going to study about human relations in groups. So, Augusto is regarded as the father of sociology who tried to study the society in a systematic and scientific way. As we know that man is social as well as psychological being. He or she will try to engage in communities, live with the people in order to satisfy their requirements. So in order to stay in groups, we require mutual understanding and we try to ensure that they stay in accordance with the norms and values which will bring unity among the individuals. And they try to keep away themselves from conflicts so that they can have collective behavior and they can stay in the groups. They can maintain the behavior norms and standards so that the society can sustain without much issues. But in spite of having the same way of mindset, in spite of having the same behavior, sometimes there are chances that there may be deviant behavior among the individuals on one or the other reason. So, because individuals stay in the society, so obviously, whenever there is any crime, it also affects the individuals, nothing but the society too. Now, let us discuss about sociology in detail. Sociology is a systematic study of society. It tries to investigate about the structure and the functioning of various elements which have made up this society. We are going to study using sociological approaches, studying any set of problems and discovering about the causes and the consequences of that set of problems, my dear friends. Whereas crime is a type of behavior which may be harmful to the interest of others, which may injure the people physically, mentally, and sometimes it may also be threatening to the life of the individuals. So the criminal behavior is interdicted by society, by the government, and so on. It is a forbidden behavior of the society and is punishable under the law. But criminals are not born, my dear friends. It is a byproduct of various factors in the society. It may be social factors, it may be psychological or the other factors which may motivate the people to become criminals. So the advanced sociological knowledge in its importance and efficiency tries to understand the problems and try to find out a solution for various social problems in this society. So Maurice Ginsburg has said that the duty of sociology is also to study the problems, social problems. We call it as social pathology. So our duty is to identify the problems and also provide the medicine or nothing but solve the issue, my dear friends. So science of criminology tries to use various methods which are being employed by sociology or techniques used by sociology to study the problems, understand the concepts, and also to find the remedies for these problems. So both this criminology and sociology are more or less closely related with each other. These two disciplines are very closely associated with each other. Now let us discuss about some basic concepts which we use in sociology. The first one is social control. Each and every society, each and every member or the individual in the society wish to live in harmony and order. Where there is no harmony, where there is no order, society actually does not exist because society is a harmonious organization of human relationship. Unless the individuals live up to the prescribed norms and values, unless their self-seeking impulses are subjugated to the welfare of the entire community, it will become quite difficult for the organization to exist in its totality. So society is exists in order, and progress has to exercise a certain control over its members, or else it may not exist. So we require certain mechanism by which we can control the human behavior. The next concept is norms and values. Each and every society, each and every society has or determines some standards which may be treated as right or wrong, appreciated or in maybe appropriate or inappropriate, just or unjust, good or bad in terms of social relationship. Every social system is possessed of its norms, which the individuals are obliged to observe. Some norms are general and may not be violated by anyone. Others apply only to a particular individual and status roles within the system. Particular norms may be especially crucial for special social systems. Social values are the integral part of the society. The third one is social organization. Social organization is the totality of human personalities and conscious and unconscious attitudes, their crystallized and uncrystallized ideas and institutions, which in complex interrelationship make up the framework of human existence. So, individuals, um, relationships are monitored by social institutions and associations. And all the organized society exhibits a complete social harmony of behavior. Society is controlled by a set of customs, traditions, norms, laws, and institutions. The moment the control of the society is lifted from the members, the phenomena becomes restless and it may lead to social havoc. The next one is, what is the relation between society, social control, and crime? Social control of the behavior of individuals in society is necessary for social stability. That means social control may vary from one society to the other society from time to time. Individuals' conformity to society is expectations or to the social norms is achieved by socializing the individuals, by internalizing the norms and values which are prescribed in that particular society. So socialization plays a vital role in terms of inculcating the good habits or the norms and values which are there in that particular society. However, however, some people, in spite of socialization, in spite of proper socialization, because of certain factors, social and other factors, there are chances that the people may violate the norms. But if people are aware of the punishment of that activity or behavior at that time, it may prevent the people, it may motivate the people not to commit that mistake. So social pressures also prevent the people from violating the norms and values which are there in that particular society. So people must be properly socialized and people also must know what kind of punishment is there for violating the set of norms and values which may motivate the people to have good behavior, to abide to the norms and values, and they may not violate them. However, no system of social control works perfectly. Some person fail to conform to social expectations, they devote to social norms. So thus, deviation is nothing but the violation of norms of the group by the society or by the individuals. Now let us discuss about social order, deviance, and crime. Sociology is concerned with social order, concept, and disorder both in order to understand the functioning of society. We try to study both the order of the society as well as disorder of the society so that we can understand how the society functions. The study of control begins with the study of social order within which people interact. Social order means a system of people, relationships, and customs operating smoothly to accomplish the work of a society. It depends upon the expectations of others and conformity to social norms and rules. The basic drives of human being are like basic needs like food, clothing, shelter. Then we also have sexual pleasure, security. Uh, all these are regulated. All these needs are being regulated. The Regulation Act as a check on the individual's desires that they cannot fulfill the way they wish. Human beings have to adhere to certain norms and rules of any class. It is directly related to social order and social control. So it is structured, it is moral, economical, political, and so on. Each and every person has certain interests. And if people are not in a position to satisfy their requirements in a fair manner, at that time, it may lead to deviant behavior. Now, let us discuss about social disorganization. In each and every society, as we discuss, like we are going to have certain set of rules and regulations, and each and every individual to try to perform these roles satisfactorily so that they can enjoy the status, everything. But in sometimes there will be disorganization of people. People forget about their duties, they will not be able to control their emotions or to satisfy all the requirements in the fair manner. So let us discuss what is the actual definition of this social disorganization. According to Eliot and Merrill, the process by which the relationship between members of a group are broken or dissolved, then we call it as social disorganization. It speaks of annihilation, destruction, or breaking of social relation between the members. Then we call it as social disorganization. Now let us discuss about different aspects of social disorganization in India and the causes for crime. We discuss like social disorganization means deterioration of social relations between the members of society because of which the members are unable to function according to their status in society. This leads to chaotic situation or condition in the social institutions, associations, customs, traditions, and folkways. So it encompasses material disorganization that the different aspects of social or disorganization in India. The different aspects of disorganization in India are like communal life, family, rural-urban disorganization, and so on. Now let us discuss about disorganization in communal life. In India, Hindus are divided into various strata based on caste system. There is also hierarchy in the caste system, placing the Brahmins on the top and keeping the Shudras at the bottom of the hierarchy. So we find we find a lot of differences in terms of food patterns, dress code, belief system, and religious practices, and so on. The Brahmins or the upper three communities are treated as superior and treated as pure, whereas the Shudra community is treated as impure, my dear friends. So sometimes there can be conflict between the people in terms of caste. Along with Hindus, we also find Muslims and Christians in the Indian society. We also find the other people. So there is a virtual absence of community feeling among Hindus uh, because of caste system, because of endogamy, in terms of preference, in terms of marriages, like people wish to marry within the same community or same religion, like endogamy is being practiced. So obviously, what happens? It leads to some of the disorganization in the community life. The most detritus effect of casteism is being evident in politics in India. Even in elections, we see whether the representative belongs, or the person who is going to contest in politics belong to my community or not, and based on that, their preference in terms of voting also changes. The next one is we have rural disorganization. 75% of the Indian population still now lives in the rural India. India is the country of villages, and in the Indian villages, there is a complete absence of organized communal life. The ancient ties and unifying bonds have dissolved, and rural society is ridden through factionalism, casteism, and self seeking groups. The incidence of crime like rapes, murders, dacoit, adultery is on rise. The community consciousness and fellowship has been replaced by selfishness, materialism, groupism, and dishonesty. It not only happened in the rural areas, but we also find disorganization in the urban areas. In the urban areas, people are divided because of groupism, casteism, status orientation, and so on. The factors which are producing vociferous tendencies overwhelm and nullify all nullifying, or it's going to nullify all unifying bonds. It is too much to expect any kind of cooperation and mutual aid among the people in the in the urban areas. We can see in the urban areas the crime like juvenile delinquency, gangsters, um, mutual antagonism, hatredness, and so on. We also see rapes, murders, prostitution, and so on, my dear friends, in the urban societies. Now let us discuss about disorganization in social institutions. In India, social disorganization is the in the institutions like marriage and family is seen at to the highest. Aristotle has said that family is the cradle of society. If family is strong enough, then the society will also be strong. So if the family is weak, then obviously there will not be proper socialization of the next generation. So obviously the children, because they have not inherited the norms and values properly, they may not be live in accordance with them. So it leads to problem. So these are the two major institutions, family and marriage, which are going to play a vital role in among all the institutions, my dear friends. Particularly in the urban areas, the control of family over its members is being changed. In the olden days, the head of the family, if it is a patriarchal system, father, and if it is a matriarchal system, mother used to exercise all the authority over all the other members of the family. But unfortunately, in the so-called modern societies, the families are being broken up. And as each and every member is finding a job, making a living, they are having financial freedom, and it is also one of the reasons for weakening of ties within the family. We see that in the name of equality, or in the name of freedom, they are simply trying to move away from the clutches of the family holds, my dear friend. Women are seeking jobs, nothing wrong in that. They also wish to enjoy the freedom, nothing wrong. But what is happening is that the relations within the family, in the name of freedom, is being the relations are being spoiled. Materialism and individualism is the philosophy of the modern society. The spirit of cooperation, adjustment, and respect for each other is disturbed just because of this selfishness, vested interest, or ultimate freedom. The Indian home is riddled with economic tensions, sexual tensions, and conflicts arising just because of temperamental incompatibility. And we also not only have it is not only happening in the family, it also is happening in terms of marital status. Due to marital disorganization, all sorts of evil practices related with marriage are coming. In India, there are still communities where child marriages are being practiced. There are people who consider marriages an opportunity to become rich, and there are also people who are demanding extra dowry after the marriages, and so on. So we find child marriages, the rate of divorce is increasing. All these are the problems. And this is also going to lead to some of the illicit relations in the society. And there are chances that some people may also enter or forced into prostitution, my dear friends. So we find differences both in disorganization in family as well as in marital conditions. Then we also have this urbanization and industrialization, which is going to contribute for the disorganization in the society. So there must be a question from your side. Sir, how come urbanization is going to cause or lead to disorganization? For example, most of the people who are there in the rural areas, they are forced to migrate to the urban societies as there are no employment opportunities, or else the rural society or the structure will not help the people in order to reach their aspirations. So people who migrate to the nearby urban towns or urban centers, like they will not be able to satisfy all their requirements. It may lead to traumatic shocks due to drastic changes in the norms and values, less expectation from life than the townsmen, and therefore it leads to psychological problems. At the same time, people, as their economical condition is poor, they may not stay in a good locality, but they were forced to stay because of their financial condition. They are forced to stay in the slum areas, and when they are not satisfied, there are chances that these people may be addicted to alcohol. Some people may be forced into enter into crime. Some people may be forced to take unfair means in order to make a living, my dear friends. So urbanization will also can also be a cause for disorganization in the society. And next one is industrialization. There is a rapid industrialization happening in modern India. It also gave rise to disorganization. Due to industrialization, the joint families have been broken up into nuclear families. And most of the people are forced to work as laborers as they do not possess the required skill set to find a decent job. And the laborers are forced to work for longer period and they are being exploited, my dear friends. And just because of this, there are chances that people may be unhappy. At the same time, these centers, industrial societies, may also be the prospering centers for prostitution, for fostering crimes such as murder, assault, disturbance, robbery, and so on. At the same time, in the industrial societies, housing also becomes a problem as in the towns, thousands and thousands of families will be residing. and the space will be very, very less. And most of the people will be forced to stay in small houses, maybe one or two rooms, my dear friends, which also may lead to problems. Along with this, we also have sexual crimes within the industrial societies. Now let us discuss about the personal disorganization and the factors for crime. As in all the individuals will be perfect mentally, physically, and he or she tries to do a desirable deed. But when the individual's personality gets disorganized, he or she can do anything, my dear friends. The main cause for the disorganization of the individuals may be the crisis of values, lessening family and social control on individuals, and so on. This type of personal disorganization leads to abnormal and criminal behavior. Every man is unique and their personalities too. And this is due to unique organizations and relation between their psychological traits. Personality is a character which is integration of physical structure, behavior patterns, capacities, and abilities. These traits are integrated and well balanced by the individuals in all the environments. And it is relatively free from frustration, ambiguity of goals and purpose. But once this balance is lost, it may lead to psychological or psychophysical traits, which becomes unsystematic, personal disorganization, and so on. As a result of this personal disorganization, the human beings um, will be disturbed, or else the relationship with the environment gets disturbed. Now, let us discuss about the important factors of personal disorganization. The first one is personal disabilities. Not all the people are physically and mentally fit, my dear friends. Sometimes, due to mental and physical complexes, a man will not, or the human being will not be able to adjust with the surroundings, which may lead to disorganization. Next one is conflict of roles. Sometimes human beings will not be able to perform different roles which they possess. It may lead to conflict of roles. For example, think when I came from the college, both my mom and my wife are waiting to complain against each other. And I have two roles to be performed. One is as the son, and the other one is as the husband. So if I'm going to help my wife, then mama will not be happy. And if I'm going to support my mom, then my wife will not be happy. Sometimes it leads to conflict. And if this conflict leads to the peak at the time, it may lead to disorganization. The third one is social crisis. Due to either cumulative or precipitate crisis in society, individuals become disturbed personalities. People migrate from their homes to a new social environment. For example, you must have seen Rohingya Muslims migrating from Bangladesh. They came to India and they have settled here because of the problems. You must have heard about Parsi community. Actually, they are the natives of Iran, and because there was a social crisis in that country, all the way from Iran, they migrated to India and they settled in India. If you take the example of Tata company, Ratan Tata, all these people, actually they are not the original or the natives of India. They are the migrated population from Iran, my dear friends. So whenever there is a social crisis, wars, conflicts, or something like, at that time there are chances that people may migrate from that place. The next one is crisis of values. There is always a gap between the younger generation and the older generation in terms of their thinking. The way we think and we perceive the things may be entirely different to that of the older generation and the younger generation. Sometimes the elders, because of too much domination, and youngers, because of too much dependence on the elders, like may get frustrated and they wish to run away from the families or leave the families, or sometimes they may become rebel against their and elder people like. So whenever there is crisis of values at the time also, it may lead to disorganization. And the last one is abnormalities of personality. A few individuals develop strong complexes early in life which impede their successful adjustment with society. Due to experiences, a man may be a compulsive cheat or a homosexual or so and so, my dear friends. You must have watched this movie Aparchitudu. In that Aparchit, he saw the system was corrupt, and he always used to think like why the system is like this, why people are not afraid of the God or Yamadharmaraj, why people have lost the faith in hell or heaven, what will happen to them. And just because of that, he had a problem where he is to behave in a different way, my dear friends. So whenever there is abnormality of personality, it may also lead to disorganization. Now let us discuss about family disorganization and crime factors. Family is the primary institution of society, and marriage is the vital aspect of this institution, because once people get married, it gives legitimate authority to the boy and girl, nothing but wife and husband, to set up a family, satisfy their requirements, cooperate with each other, have children, take care of children, and so on. It gives legitimate authority over each other, my dear friends. Marriage and family has been changing, has been changing recently, and their present nature faces vital issues and problems due to the influence of Western culture, English education system, and so on. In the Western culture, both the males and females do not consider marriage to be necessary. The same way, in the 21st century, most of the people, even in the Indian society, they do or they are preferring this live-in relationship. It is being increased. The next one is in the Indian society, based on the size of population, based on male and female ratio, there used to be polygamy form of marriage, either polygyny or polyandry. But right now, what happens? Polygamy has been prohibited. Only monogamy is being accepted. Along with this, there is no. Along with this, we also see that intercaste marriages and interreligious marriages are taking place in the modern society. At the same time, people are breaking the taboos of Sagotra exogamy and Pravara exogamy. And according to Hindu Marriage Act 1955, there is also provision of divorce, which allows the people to get separated if they do not like each other. At the same time, it also allows the people to go for widow marriages and second or third marriages also. And let us discuss now the changes in the modern family. In the modern family, marriage has become unstable, my dear friends. And there is decreasing importance for the blood relationship. There are changes in terms of relationship between men and women. In the olden days, family itself used to provide the recreation facilities for the family members. But right now, the recreation has been outsourced. The families have become smaller. The economical dependency on each other between wife and husband has been reduced. The joint families are rapidly disappearing or being disorganized, my dear friends. So these are the major changes which are taking place in the family system. The causes for the disorganization in the family system may be because of industrialization, too much individualism, ideals of romantic love, lack of control over sexual relationships, and so on, my dear friends. Now, let us discuss the fields of criminology. Criminology inquires into three major aspects. It investigates the nature of criminal law and its administration and condition under which it develops. The first one, it tries to investigate the nature of criminal law and its administration and condition under which it develops. It analyzes the causation of crime and the personality of criminals. And the third one is it studies the control of crime and rehabilitation of offenders. So the sociologists, the criminologists, the doctors, the administrative system, and so on. All these people will try to work on these three areas in the field of criminology. Now let us discuss about what exactly is crime. Crime is an antisocial behavior which a group rejects and to which it attaches penalties. In the words of Darrow, crime is an act forbidden by the law of the land and which penalty is prescribed. So the law varies from one country to the other country, my dear friends. And if I go to America, whatever the set of rules and regulations are there, I have to abide to that in that country or in the land of law, or else my actions may be punished, my dear friends. Let us discuss the characteristics of crime. According to her, Jerome, there are 7 characteristics of crime. The behavior must be harmful. The first one is the behavior must be harmful. The second one is the harm which occurs must be legally forbidden. Must be legally forbidden. For example, whether a father can beat the child in India, yes, it is accepted. But if I go to America or if I go to the Scandinavian countries, even the parents cannot beat their children. It is treated as a crime, my dear friends. The harm is forbidden, like beating the children is forbidden in America and the Scandinavian countries, whereas it is not so in India. So the harm which occurs must be legally forbidden. The third one is the act which brings harmful consequences must be intentional. Means it is not accidentally done, but with well planned, people must have committed that mistake. The next one is the act to effect the harm must be deliberate motivation. For example, a person causing harm does not commit a crime for the necessary intention is not present. If a person is going to, to protect, if a lady is being molested or if any person is going to try to rape a girl, at the time, in order to protect herself, protect her modest, at the time if the lady kills a person, it is not a crime, my dear friends. So why you are committing the crime, whether it's intentional, deliberate or not. If it is deliberate, then it is a crime. The next one is there must be a fusion of criminal intent and conduct. There must be a casual relationship between the legally forbidden harm and the act or conduct. There must be a legally prescribed punishment for harmful conduct. These are the 7 characteristics of crime or criminal behavior. 1 minute, guys. Now let us discuss the concept of criminal. A criminal is one who is convicted by a court for violating the law of the land. A person who is arrested by the police and let off by the court means the court did not find the person to be a culprit, and they have simply released him or let him go, then we cannot call him as a criminal. Police must catch them, and in the court it has to be proved. Then only we are going to call the person as a criminal. Let us discuss the classification of criminals. According to Alexander, he classified the criminals into two types: the accident criminals and the chronic criminals. The accident criminal is one who commits a single crime or only a few crimes because of unusual circumstances. Then we call it as accidental criminal. And a chronic criminal is the one who commits crime repeatedly either because of his association with criminals known as normal criminal or because of his anxieties, guilt feelings, and so on. Then we call them as chronic criminal. For example, I know a person who had a sister at Varangal. And one fine day, there was a person who was creating trouble for his sister. He was fully drunken and he was asking the lady to accept his love proposal, but the lady was simply denying it. So one fine day, when he was in toxic mood, he said that now today I'm going to rape you. Who will come for your rescue? And he was trying to create the trouble for the lady. And this fellow was coming from the school. He saw his sister being bullied on the street by a person. So he tried to rescue his sister, but he could not. So he threw the bag there and ran to the home, brought a knife, and shot the person to death. Because of the unusual circumstances, in order to protect his sister from that fellow, he has killed the person. It became accidental criminal. But there are some people who find happiness in killing the people or committing crimes also, and so then we call them as chronic criminals. According to Ruth Cavan, he has classified criminals into six types. A criminal who lives in the non-criminal world. A criminal who lives in the non-criminal world. The people who include who violates minor laws like jumping the traffic signals or so and so. So minor nature crimes, those people are called as criminals living in non-criminal world. The next one is for professionals who depend upon crime for their livelihood. Um, we have people who kill the other people or who go for kidnapping or so and so, who are professional criminals. The third one is organized or racketeer. Uh, um, in the modern societies, we also find criminals forming some organization with higher grades. Like if you see in Mumbai, you'll find Dawood Ibrahim, Chota Shakil, Rajan, all these people. They've organized the crime, my dear friends. Like it has turned into a business, okay, with specialized personal and permanent gradations of leadership. We call it as organized one. The fourth one is habitual criminals who reports his crime. And the fifth one is mentally abnormal. People who are having psychological problems, sometimes they may commit crime, so we call them as mentally abnormal criminals. And the last one is non-malicious criminals, who is law-abiding in terms of the norms of his own group and in general conforms to laws of the larger society, except in some few instances where a small group norms contradict these laws. Whenever there is a contradictory between the group norms and to that of the societal norms, at that time it leads to behavior. People may violate it. For example, all the tribals who stay in the forest, they simply go and cut down the wood. They bring the wood for constructing their houses. But the beat or the forest officer says that you're not supposed to go into the forest and you're not supposed to cut down the trees. So there is a contradictory between the laws. They believe that the tribal locality is their mother and they have the right, whereas the law says that no, wherever the whole forest is the do not belong to the tribals and you're not supposed to go and touch the resources. So it may lead to contradictory, but these are non-malicious because they do not intend to kill the people or exploit the people or do anything harm to the other people. So whenever there is a contradiction in terms of norms and values between their practice and that of the society, it leads to criminal behavior. So we call it as non-malicious. Okay, till now, we have studied the relation between sociology and criminology. We have discussed about types of crime. We also discussed who is treated as a criminal and who, what is the actual definition of crime, my dear friends. We also try to study about various factors which are going to lead to the criminal behavior or which is going to lead to the disorganization of the institutions like family, marriage, and society at large. So we'll stop here, guys, and we'll continue in the next class. Have a nice day.